Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our special edition on Nile TV International, accompanied by me, Shuruk Bakir. We're still following up with the latest developments that is happening in the region and the latest escalation and the calling for the de-escalation of the war that sparked in the Middle East, where the top event of today is the UN Security Council that held a session with the Arab League on Iran's war and regional developments. And to shed more light on this topic, I'm so delighted to be accompanied here in the studio by Dr. Asmaa Elzieny, the Senior Fellow Global Peace in State yet at GPI. Good evening.
Good evening.
It's always a pleasure to have you.
The pleasure is totally mine. Thank you.
Well, Doctor, of course, we just witnessing the escalation that happened in the Middle East and the spark of the war. Nothing was expected, but it's getting more ugly because of the heads of lots of humanitarian attack and lots more, lots of losses actually. So we're speaking today about this gathering, the top event. Many countries called for peace, called for stopping the war, for ceasefire, and lots of topics that topped the agenda according to the region and also to different areas like Syria, like Sudan, and others. So how do you comment on that?
Actually, this is an important, very important development of the situation in the region, that the Security Council is holding a session shared with the Arab League, because what is happening in the region affects everyone badly. And this is even globally is very clear in the desire of the UN Security Council to have this session. Actually, once we the days go on, we are entering the fourth week of the war, and the consequences are graver for everyone, for all parties. I believe this is like another step of the political and diplomatic efforts of the de-escalation of the situation, but it doesn't seem in the very near future that we are reaching a tangible solution for the situation.
Well, I think after President Donald Trump's lots of declarations when it comes to the war, he's not going to stop striking. He's accusing Iran that it did spark it in the first place. They're not going to not to respond to what's going on. And then today, even the big events that they did hit or they did strike one of the main bridges, which is Crete. And now I think this is all getting more. Increasing more tension, not just between Iran and Israel, between U.S. and Iran, but also in globally and also in the Middle East and the region.
I believe that this is like a drastic change of the situation, because targeting like the infrastructure, whatever, is a great loss. Actually, when you read about the cost of the bridge which was destroyed today, it's a huge loss for all. I believe for all humanity. It is not only for Iran, I believe, because this is like a mark that the whole world was looking at as a great building and something of a special structure and things like this. And this is the loss of the war. This is what happens when war occurs. Sometimes there is no differentiation between what is infrastructure and what is military and what is, and I believe once the time goes and we enter different phases of the war, I believe there is expectations of greater loss of both parts.
Well, I think they did strike the Crete today. As you said, it holds a big meaning for the Iranians. I guess hitting that bridge, it was kind of also a bit of a showing off of the power. We're not going to hit or strike your utilities and facilities of the oil, as he suspended that, or he postponed it till the 6th of April. But in the other hand, he still strikes, and that provokes Iran more.
I believe this is a dangerous sign that efforts should be greater, because once we reach this point of targeting these infrastructure everywhere, it's a sign of danger for everyone to be cautious, because war is a full destruction, and once this begins attacking the energy tanks of every part, I believe this is going to make the situation worse for everyone, even for the whole region and the whole world. I believe the whole world is paying appeal of unexpected and unplanned situation that everyone cannot find a solution. And even with the time passes, and I believe the war is changing its shape very drastically and very quick. and no one can expect what's next. I believe listening to the speech of President Trump gives us a sign that there is, like as he said, just said, like 2-3 weeks, but no one can expect what could happen during these for the prices of oil and the energy market in the whole world and other economic and political situation in the whole world.
Well, I guess even the U.S., when it comes to Trump, also is facing lots of commands, even from his
Inside, yeah.
From inside the Pentagon. There's lots of chaos inside his administration. His allies is declining his help, and now he's threatening his allies that go get your own oil. We're not going to protect you, as the U.S. is the main protector of other countries. So I don't know if it's maybe it's an economy thing. 100%. First of all, it's the oil. He's like, now Trump is playing with the oil prices as much as he wants.
This is a grave result of the war, but more than this, that the instability in the region is affecting the life of everyone, not only the involved parties in the war, like the Gulf State or Iran or Israel whatsoever, or America itself. I believe it is affecting even the lives of people who are not involved directly in the war. I believe this is the main reason behind the efforts exerted by the Egyptian state and other parties, other regional parties, or even international parties, because we are afraid of what comes next. We are not afraid of what actually happening of the energy market. We are expecting the worst. That's why what pushes everyone to speed the movements and contacts, hoping that we reach a kind of de-escalation somehow.
Well, of course, even the session today, what topped the agenda, of course, lots of topics when it comes to security, sovereignty, stability in the region, finding mediating efforts or just political efforts that only this will help. Everyone said today in their statements that there should be an end to that, because it's not just affecting the neighboring area but also the whole world. Even Her Excellency Yvette Cooper, the Prime Minister of the UK, she was actually attacking Trump for his policy and commenting on him like he didn't only affect his economy or other part of the world, but they are already affected, and they don't want to be part of this. They don't want to play the game of that we are friends, we're going to play with you all the way long, but they don't want this. Nobody wants to affect his economy or his country's economy, right? Or
the more countries who know the real price of wars are those who suffered for years from the consequences of long wars. I believe the US, even one of the countries which witnessed number of wars in different parts of the world, I believe this opposition from the inside is a very important factor, beside the international efforts played by some partners and regional countries. I believe if we can add this to that, we can reach a nearby, like a light in the end of the tunnel, that de-escalation is possible, because people who seek, as I'm just telling you, people who seek de-escalation, who know the real meaning and the real cost of the war everywhere, and everyone is now suffering because of this.
well, of course, we have lots of sparked war in different parts of the world. We're speaking about Sudan, we're speaking about, of course, we're speaking of Syria, Gaza, and even top diplomats also commented on Trump's policy, saying that you are just taking the side away from what was meant to be, which is the ceasefire phase 2 for Palestine. Now we are taking the whole side to something else that they don't want even to get involved in.
Hopefully the movements that the last week witnessed, headed by Egypt and Turkey and Pakistan and other international partners, hopefully these negotiations, these contacts and these movements is going to make the situation clearer for other partners to give a hand in the de-escalation efforts. I believe everyone now is appreciating what the Egyptian presidency for years has warned from, that the whole world is going to, it is not only about the region and what is actually happening. Not only the Middle East or the Arab countries or whatever neighboring countries are suffering, the whole world is afraid, and each one is protecting his economy and his situation, internal situation, even inside the US itself.
Yes, yeah, 100%, because His Excellency President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi is always hailing for ceasefire, for negotiation, for mediation, and of course we cannot deny the efforts done by His Excellency Dr. Badr Abdel Ati when it comes to international political movements that he did, like even till today.
And the
he's
visits and yeah.
Of course, visits with lots of presidents from part of the world. But we're speaking now about how can this stop? Like, we are speaking, international community speaking, the Arab League speaking. So what are we waiting for?
I
Like,
totally believe that wars never end by guns. It never happened anywhere. We should revert to the diplomacy and negotiation and communication. And I believe this step is not impossible. It is a little bit complicated and difficult, but we can reach it with sincere efforts from all partners. It is possible. This is the only way out, I believe.
I guess it's possible. If
Even
Trump
with
won.
stubbornness from both parts, but
Yes.
it is reachable.
I think the stubbornness provokes from kind of, let's say, show off. They want to dominate.
Feeling that you are powerful.
It's domination for economy, I guess, and also for the Middle East. But we've seen like lots of statements also by President Donald Trump saying that we don't want to escalate. He's saying like lots of statements. I don't know if it's really related, but he's not meaning this can be go easily with mediation.
After all, you can pick pieces and parts from the speech and you feel that this is possible. It is not that easy, but it is possible. Let's hope that the Egyptian and Turkish and Pakistani efforts continue until we reach like a common background for the two parts to sit and have this finally direct negotiations.
And I
One
think
day.
His Excellency, President Donald Trump is waiting for a compromise that can settle for his benefits, let's say, and for the I don't know, for the
Iranians and all parts,
for the
I
presence
believe.
of the U.S., because the U.S. is always the slogan, it's the protector, it's the innovator, it's the massive technology, so they don't want to lose this in front of the whole world, right?
Actually, war is a big loss for everyone. It is never a win, even if one of the two parties pretend to be a winner. After all, it's a loss. It's a huge cost. It's a huge cost of lives and everything. After all, the only way out is to revert to negotiations and diplomacy.
Well, 100%. There's no other way, I guess.
Yeah.
There's no other way.
Everyone believes the same.
Yes, because they keep striking, and then what? Like they said, more than 3,000 lives been.
If you
Lost
leave
their
the
lives.
if you leave the track for the military strikes, it never ends, and this is what happened years and years. Some wars continued like for years, but no one can at this time cannot bear the cost of this to continue this very long. It seems that it is not a short war, but no one can pay the cost. It is very expensive for everyone.
Yes, 100%, especially the Gulf area and the Gulf countries, they are not involved. And every statement done by whether His Excellency President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi or different top diplomats, they said that they don't want to get involved. They don't want to harm their infrastructure, the mega projects. We're working in a different path. Egypt is not just focusing on anything except for flourishing more in the whole world, in the international arenas, in different fields. So I think nobody wants more escalation.
Definitely yes, but after all, it is a reality that we need to deal with, and every country is finding a way out inside. After that, we are moving quicker towards the de-escalation with the effort of all partners and all parts.
I guess this has to be done very soon because people have been evacuated from different Gulf areas. Lots of countries, they called for their citizens because of the escalation and all of that. And as if Iran is punishing the Gulf areas for their bases, for their military bases, the U.S. military bases, actually.
Let's look on only one Arab country, which is Lebanon. Only Lebanon, 1 million are moved from their original places to safer places because of the strikes on Lebanon. This is a huge loss for Lebanon, not only for Lebanon, for the whole humanity, because we feel the responsibility for each one suffering because of the war. If we are able to do something toward this ending or de-escalating the situation.
Yes, especially the UN Charter
Yeah.
of Human Rights. They were calling for paragraph 4. They called for that, and again paragraph 8. So I think everyone is calling for human rights, though there's lots of provoking for more neglecting for the international law, for the international court, because we are used to that. Israel never been punished and it will never be punished. So we are speaking more of with the region, speaking more of with the countries around us. We are seeking, of course, solutions and compromising, but again, it's not going to happen in a day, but we hope for the best because we still like watching. Today I was so happy with this gathering of different part of the world, different parts also, top diplomats, and everyone had the chance to speak out, and in this session, of course, and to speak about their consequences, speaking about trade, speaking about economy, speaking about Strait of Hormuz, so finding different solutions for that, because lots, yes, of course. So I think this is walking in different paths, though all of them are, it's going to end up in the same, hopefully, more of hope.
Hopefully all these movements and these communications and gatherings and everything leads to the hope solution, which is everyone sitting to the table and starting to discuss this peacefully, because the world has suffered enough from these wars. Reverting to the international law and the international humanitarian law and human rights is the hope of everyone. But it is never impossible, but it is hard to reach, especially when the sound of guns are everywhere and missiles are moving and coming from one part to another part. But it is hard, but it is not impossible.
Of course, it's not impossible. Meanwhile, also, President Donald Trump is gathering all his administration. I think they're having lots of meetings all day long. They're discussing how they can get out of this trap because they're already involved. They don't have enough balancing when it comes to military for the military thing, and now they're just, I don't know, they're biting their fingers or what, but they're thinking about alternatives, though it's very controversial.
It is, and plus, listening to the speech of the whole world powers and even to the leaders of the region, everyone is calling for the de-escalation somehow, depending on what is possible for each party. We are hopeful that at least there are wise sounds inside even U.S. to listen to the sound of diplomacy and political solution. I believe it is not too far.
Well, I think this is not just reshaping the power of the world, but also reshaping the economy of the world because of the oil prices, because of the trade. I think it's going to find a way to get out of this mess. Who is going to keep his economy fine?
If you are speaking about what kind of a change this war caused, greater than the political changes and regime changes everywhere, it is the economic changes that everyone is, even if not suffering greatly, but is expecting to be greater in the near future if we cannot reach this de-escalation so soon.
Yeah, of course, and also one of the things that Donald Trump mentioned in his speech, that he's saying that, it's true, but we got to say that the regimes are changing and governments are changing. I don't know what he meant with that, but which regimes and which governments? Like the one you're striking, or
the energy market, or energy prices, or whatsoever?
Yeah, it's like a sport. His declaration also, like, I don't know, it feels like there's something also behind the statement.
This is another reading of the speech sometimes, but still we are what we are confident of, that once these efforts are sincere and continuous, de-escalation is reachable. Regardless of analyzing the speech, of course, this is a very important aspect of every now and then, especially because this speech is the first and only direct speech to the Americans about the war, and it was like more than 20, this longer than any other speech of the President Trump. Still, we read behind what is said directly. I believe that there is it is not very clear, but there is inside the speech. Of course, there is intention for continuation of the strikes for a while, After all, they were reverted to the diplomacy and negotiation.
Especially when Donald Trump just signed his name on the new dollar, which he means like I dominate, I am the one
This
who.
is very clear, yeah.
So it's another message in this mess. It's not the timing of that, but I think he wants to deliver a message too.
Message reached a little bit, but after all, it is like internal, something internal for, or even directed for some parts. Still, the greater loss everywhere is in the region, and we are in a very bad need for the de-escalation.
We need it because now we're speaking about more.
It is our own suffering, our own situation. That I believe this is one of the main reasons why Egypt is never stopping the communications and movements and visits, and even the visits paid by President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi to the neighboring Arab countries. It is a form of consideration and showing that we are one, but still it is a step forward towards the expected de-escalation.
Well, we hope for the best because it's the sovereignty and integrity sorry, of any nation, its borders, its people, its nation, its protocol, its law. So
Yeah.
there's a lot which in the end it's called a country. So nobody will accept that easily, right?
Yes, after all, for years we kept saying that let's be thankful that we are a stable country, and I believe no one at this time can deny the fact that we are stable, alhamdulillah, and we are the only regional power that everyone is looking at. Even when you listen to the Pakistani Prime Minister announcement regarding the efforts, he is expecting greater role from Egypt because it is the only power in the region able to do this and to reach it. And they are, I believe, this is the feeling and the situation of different partners, international partners other than Pakistan or Turkey.
I agree with you 100% because it's the previous mediations that we did host here in Sharm el-Sheikh with President Sisi, and of course lots of visits by Dr. Badr Abdel Alti here and there. Mediation, Moscow today, they're waiting for President Sisi very soon. So all those means, and another messages to the whole world that Egypt has its own allies, no matter what, they were going to stand next.
And even amid this very bad situation, when you listen to the speeches of President Trump, you catch these little pots
hints.
of hints of hope that Egypt is expected to play this role.
Well, I've always saying that Egypt is the only safe place in the whole world. We cannot deny that because you see what's going on around us. We are safe, we are focused on our infrastructure, we're focused on our projects, so we hope for the best, and we hope for the best for the Middle East, for the region, and for the whole world. Well, Dr. Asmaa Elzieny, the Senior Fellow Global Peace Institute, GPI, I would like to thank you so much for your informative
Thank you so much.
interview.
It's always a
Thank you so
pleasure.
much. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we ran out of time. This special edition, stay around on Nile TV International for more. Best regards from me, Shuruq Bakir.